My name is Daran Rudnick. I'm a irrigation engineering faculty member in the Department of Biological Systems Engineering, and I'm on the engagement team. How many engineers do we have in the room? Have we been known to be great engagers? Not so much, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences as a physical scientist, and on the project that I work with Mark, we refer to ourselves as biophysical researchers. I've had an opportunity to work with some social scientists about engagement, what that looks like, and in my experience, when I started my position, I had a 50% research, 50% extension. I was stationed in North Platte, Nebraska. In that first winter, I went up to our egg economist, also very well known to be engagement specialist. So we were sitting there and I was talking, I'm like, I'm a young faculty member. How do I go about engaging? How do I connect? And so right before that, in that summer, I had this awesome research idea. It's like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to engage with these 3 farmers, and I have this awesome research project that I want to do. It flopped. So I wanted irrigation records. They said, well, I irrigated approximately this time on this week, and I think I might have irrigated that time, but I'm not sure. But anyways, the point that I was trying to make, and I'm trying to hit on the 3 topics that Nick wanted to bring up. The problem is that wasn't a shared interest, right? I thought it was a great idea. They didn't really care. They were being very polite to me, saying, hey, yeah, you can install what you want in my field. And we engaged a little bit in terms of just general communication, but really at the end of it, we had nothing valuable. And so through that, we went ahead and started talking, so Matt Stockton and I, and we're like, okay, so how do we actually pull people together and really kind of come up with a way that they want to be there, and we basically are no longer in the driver's seat, right? And so that's where our idea of the TAPS program came about. And I think that's why Nick and Daran invited me to be part of this. Anybody heard of the TAPS program? Okay, a handful of people. Well, for those that have not, so basically it's really not that complicated. It's a farm management competition. So really it's like just bringing it back to enjoyable, fun competition and really getting people to want to beat their neighbors or their friends and be a better farmer in terms of economics and then also in terms of efficiency. So everybody gets really riled up about these yield contests. Why can't we do the same thing about economics and efficiency, right? Because those are both important environmentally as well as important for the individual producer themselves. And so through that process, we've grown over that 3-year period, and each time we've gone through that competition, we've learned a little bit more about what are we doing to connect with people. And better yet, how are we as researchers facilitating the connection outside of just the university? So peer-to-peer, better connecting industry with growers, and then also industry with university and so forth. A few times where we might have dipped in that process would be, again, where that shared interest starts to drop down. And so sometimes as a researcher, I'm very interested in certain parts, and I know that that might not be the most important thing for our stakeholders or the growers or whoever that might be. And so constant communication and basically refamiliarizing ourselves with what is important becomes very critical. Also, I had a question for you guys. How many extension events or outreach events do you guys hear or see advertised? Quite a few? Maybe 5, 10, 15? And it might not just be university, it could be industry, it could be put on by NRDs, extension. The thing is, there's a lot of opportunities out there, right? And so as a grower, some of the challenge becomes, how do we continue to engage and connect with them without watering down that value of that time that we have with them, right? And so one of the things through some of the stuff we're doing is, and I think we're seeing that across extension, we're being much more thoughtful and targeting so that when we do connect with people, it's high impact, it's valuable, and they see that value. As compared to saying, well, hey, as part of TAPS, we're going to have 10 events because more time is naturally better. We're actually wanting to make sure that that time is very valued. And so that's something that we've been very thoughtful about in our program and also in other extension events. Outside of that, I really think that probably summarizes most of my engagement around like the TAPS and some of my insights there. I do want to make a couple notes on the project that I'm working on with Mark. Again, as a physical scientist, being able to connect with the social scientists, Lindsay had a really good overview of some of those different things. I didn't even know those existed, and it has opened my eyes working with these guys to have a better way of connecting on the physical sciences, which is, again, how do we look at water quality and quantity? How do we manage our irrigation system so that we don't run into challenges both on farm and regionally? So with that, I will pass it on to Kate.